Hi, everyone. It's David Jasso here for another session on our multi-cloud um, live streaming, where we do demos for cloud ops and DevOps practitioners. We've got some great guests today. Before we get to them, my normal co-host Lauren is not here today, but she'll be back next week. Our guests today are Michelle Clopton and Kelsey Lemon, part of the VMware Skyline team. Sorry about that, folks. It's early
It's
round
still
robin.
early. Yeah, it's still early.
And they're gonna both introduce themselves and then tell us what they're gonna be talking about, and then we're gonna move forward with that. So we'll turn it over to Michelle and Kelsey. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell us what we're gonna be talking about today?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Michelle Clopton, and I'm a senior product marketing manager for Skyline.
And hi, everyone. I'm Kelsey Lemon. I am a technical marketing manager, and I'm going to be assisting Michelle today. Very happy to be here.
All right. What are you guys going to be talking about with Skyline, and maybe introduce Skyline? I tend to think about Skyline as sort of one of VMware's best kept secrets.
Yes.
And you guys didn't know what I mean by that, but just maybe tell us what Skyline is, and then when Michelle, whenever you're ready, just share your screen, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, Kelsey, I'll let you do the honors.
Well,
intro.
Thanks for the opportunity to unleash this best kept secret. It's no longer a secret now. We're getting it out here in the world. But at the end of the day, Skyline is a proactive service that actually allows an admin to see potential danger to their environment and gives them the ability to not only see it before it even happens, but to also act on it before it happens. So you can actually remediate and keep your environment stable, safe, and secure. So it's very, very great tool. And we also have some really great features for the reactive side of support as well. And so if you do experience an issue, we have ways to automate SR creation and log bundle generation. And Michelle's going to show all of that. It's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah,
so thank you.
It's a great one to kick off this coming month of July, because this is sysadmin month. So it's a great thing to be talking about how they can leverage Skyline in their jobs and just to really keep those environments humming.
Yes,
Michelle?
Great. Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay. All right, so hopefully you can see my slide here. Okay, great. So I'll jump right in. So I have just a couple of slides to talk a little bit about what Skyline is and the benefits, and then I'll jump into the demo after that. So Skyline, as Kelsey was mentioning, is our proactive intelligence tool. It's a SaaS offering for our customers to help them avoid issues before they occur and streamline problem resolution if a problem does pop up. And let's just jump right in. So Skyline helps proactively avoid those issues before they occur. And the way that it works is our customers install a lightweight appliance on premises in their environment, and that appliance starts pulling product usage data. So it's providing granular visibility across the global environment. That automated data capture is pulling the data, doing analysis of configurations, upgrades, and trend telemetry. And based on that analysis, Skyline is providing those predictive and prescriptive recommendations for proactive remediation. So that's really a long way of saying that it's identifying potential problems in your environment and providing information so you can remediate and avoid having the issue, avoid having the downtime, avoid having to file a support request.
Hey, and Michelle, just to clarify, because we didn't really say this at the beginning, but this is really tied to your VMware environment, right? So this is the technology,
yes.
This is tied, into making sure that that's healthy, which then things run on. So, obviously, if that's not healthy, then nothing's going to run right.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So thanks, David, for pointing that. It is for your VMware environment, and I'll show you which products that Skyline supports in just a moment. But that's a good point. So in addition to the proactive features that Skyline has, it also has some of those reactive features, as Kelsey mentioned. So it's going to speed support request resolution. There's that automated log upload feature called Log Assist that Kelsey alluded to. I'm going to show that to you in just a minute. We also have a Skyline tool called Skyline Health Diagnostics. That's a log analysis tool that you can use if you have an issue. You can do some troubleshooting on your own. And Skyline provides increased visibility across your VMware environment as well. So if you do have a problem, you call tech support. You don't have to play that 20 questions basically, because our TSE is going to have that view into your environment through Skyline, already know what your environment looks like, know what you have installed, know the configurations. And so Skyline really helps that speed that issue resolution in that way as well. And Skyline's really providing increased security, reliability, and productivity. So that automated detection and proactive remediation guidance is helping prevent and resolve security issues. So it's reducing your security risk. It's providing proactive avoidance of IT downtime and brownouts. And by eliminating these problems or reducing these problems that you're having, you're going to spend less time firefighting and troubleshooting and trying to fix problems, and more time actually focusing on your strategic initiatives. And then maybe the best part about Skyline, it's included with your support contract.
It's free.
So yeah, you don't have to pay anything extra for Skyline if you have vRealize Cloud Universal, or you have production or premier support or customer success 360 subscription. You can use Skyline at no additional charge. And then you see there are a list of products that Skyline currently supports. So it's VMware Cloud Foundation, vSphere, vSAN, both flavors of NSX, vRealize Operations, and Horizon. And so the bottom line is Skyline is providing operational excellence, risk mitigation, and it's accelerating outcomes for you. And then just a little bit of quick information, kind of Skyline by the numbers, if you will. We currently have over 11,500 customers using Skyline, and they're realizing these benefits. So you can see that problem resolution is a huge, not only time saver, but cost saver. So according to this study here, an average cost of 1 hour of IT downtime for enterprises is $540,000. So you really want to avoid having that downtime. And then Skyline is really just helping prevent those issues. 50% of customers reported a decrease in downtime in the 2 years after using proactive support technologies. And then on that increased security, reliability, and productivity topic, 201 hours of unplanned downtime were avoided due to advanced support technologies like Skyline. So there's some kind of impactful numbers for you. And then on the right-hand side here, you can see across those over 11,000 customers using Skyline, Skyline has proactively identified 70 million objects with potential issues. And that log upload feature, Log Assist, that I mentioned, has saved our customers 90,000 hours. That was just in 2020 alone over manually uploading.
What's about that too, what's really interesting about the Log Assist feature is that we've actually done testing on it, and it's actually 17 times faster than traditional log transfer processes. So you can save a lot of time there. Maybe even use that to justify getting a raise too. So there you go.
Hey, what I love about Skyline is it helps you with this classic problem in life, and so many things is you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And it actually gets at that because it surfaces those issues that you don't really find until you trip over them. And then it catches them well before that and lets you fix them and adjust, correct them and make sure that you're running in an effective way before you have issues rather than after you have issues.
You're exactly right. I mean, many customers have had those aha moments where they've hooked up Skyline and didn't think they were going to see anything, and then aha, they found that they were exposed to certain things that they weren't even aware of. So it's a great point.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So it goes back to that, you can operate in a proactive mode versus that reactive firefighting mode, and really just kind of, get a handle on things and, be focusing on your strategic initiatives versus fixing stuff. So hopefully you guys can see this screen here, my demo.
Yep.
Okay, great. Just making sure. So I will dive right in. So once you set up Skyline, so you've installed that appliance, it's collecting the data like I mentioned, you log into Skyline through Skyline Advisor, browser-based login. It's accessible through our cloud services platform because it is a SaaS service. And you'll see up here, this is your Skyline organization. This is the dashboard, kind of the landing page you'll see when you log in. And it's really just kind of a great summary of everything that Skyline is showing you. And so up on the left-hand side here, you'll see information about your account. This is our demo account here, your entitlement, account ID, entitlement numbers, and then just below it is your Skyline collector. So that appliance that you install is called a Skyline collector. You can have as many or as few collectors collecting data as you like, and so this is kind of a quick little at a glance of your collectors. I'm going to go ahead and click on collector details. And you can take a look. So you see all your collectors that you have installed in your environment. You can see their status. So if they're healthy, unhealthy, active, inactive, you want to make sure that they're active so that they're collecting the data and Skyline can provide you those proactive recommendations. If they are inactive, let's say you have an inactive one, you're not using it anymore, for some reason you can deregister that collector, just clean it up right from this interface. So that's a good thing to know.
And are those, Michelle, are those collectors associated with a specific deployment of this type, like NSX or a vCenter deployment or vRealize? How are those? What's the foundation for those collectors?
Yeah, great question. So you can connect up any of the products that Skyline supports to a collector. So you can really organize it any way that makes sense to you. So you can see with these different collectors here, we've got, different products connected. We've got Horizon and a vCenter connected to this one. A myriad of things, vCenter, Horizon, NSXT connected to this collector. So you can kind of organize it any way you want. And you just want to make sure that if you have a very diverse environment, so geographically diverse with multiple regions. So, right, Kelsey, you want to make sure that you install a collector per region, just to avoid latency, data latency, etc. But otherwise, there's really no restrictions for how you install your collectors, how you connect your product endpoints, how many collectors, how many products. We don't have any limits at this point.
And one additional question, you may cover this elsewhere, but given this is a product that sort of, it's also sort of has an on-premise component and in the cloud component. What sort of overhead do you guys, how much does this tax the systems? I guess is the question that a lot of people have, both from data being sent to the cloud, but also from like what's running on premise.
Right. So the collector itself is small in terms of its footprint. We're talking kilobytes in size, right? So once you get that installed, it's a very, very small OVA file that gets deployed. As far as the actual amount of storage that's retained, Skyline, the collector supports thin and thick provisioning, and so you can set aside 87 gigs up front if you want to do thick provisioning, or you can just say I want to do thin, and then it will collect up until that point, and then it will refresh and get back down to a manageable storage size.
Cool, thanks.
Yep.
Great question. Okay, I'm going to jump back to this dashboard here. So we looked at our collectors. You can see your log assist usage, kind of a little summary here. Down below that, you can also see your findings in the middle, just a very high level summary of the number of findings, severity, and category. And I'll jump in and look at the findings in more detail in a minute. You see an operational overview here, and we have an integration with vRealize Operations Cloud. I'll talk about that just a little bit towards the end. And then you can see your support requests here that you've opened up. And I want to point out that kind of a really handy feature, a newer feature in Skyline, is that if you're a Skyline administrator, so that's your role as Skyline administrator, you can toggle on a setting under our settings here in the top right that enables you visibility across your team for support requests. So then you can not only see the support requests that you've opened, if any, you can see all the support requests that your team using Skyline have opened, which is really handy just for visibility, at a glance, here's all our support requests, but also for using that log assist, log upload tool. You can use it on behalf of one of your team members or vice versa, if somebody's out. So I'll show log assist here in a minute. Okay, I'm going to jump right into our findings and recommendations tab. You can jump in from here. And really, this is what we call the lifeblood of Skyline. So this is where all of those proactive findings and recommendations that Skyline has identified in your environment are going to show up. So you can see on the left, you can look at all of your inventory in great detail that you have connected up to Skyline. You can do sorting and filtering by severity. So we rank the findings by severity: critical, moderate, or trivial. And as you might expect, a lot of the critical findings are security related category. So we categorize them: network storage, security compute, and user compute, operations management. Finding types, so configuration, patches, upgrades, troubleshooting. If you have solutions connected up, you can sort here. So VMware Cloud Foundation, VxRail, VVD. And then this is really handy at the bottom. It's the first observed date. So you'll see, so each of these findings here is represented by a card, and I'll jump in a little bit more in detail. You can also do a list view of the findings if you like that better. We usually like to view the cards, but each of these cards has a first observed date, which is pretty handy. So if you get some new findings popping up, you're wondering like, wait, when did that come in? When did it start showing up? Or looking at, even old findings, when did they appear? And you want to tie that into a change in your environment. For example, you've added something, upgraded something, whatever, and you're seeing a new finding, it's really handy to see those dates, and you can sort by date here on the left-hand side.
And those filtering options is a great way to prioritize if you have a remediation plan. You can say, you know what, I'm going to focus on critical issues that are related to the network, and we're going to do it in reverse chronological order. So you can use all these different types of filters to really, again, just prioritize how you want to remediate things. It's a really great tool.
Yeah, I assume also if you have a larger team that they may have spheres of responsibility or something, so they can focus in on the things that matter to each to a member, rather than everything that's going on.
Attacking everything all at once. Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's a great kind of segue into one of our features here is, let's say you do have a bunch of findings, you want to narrow it down. You just want to see some specific findings on here, not all of them, or maybe there's some findings you're not going to remediate right away or ever. You can select any or all of the findings, and you can hide them. And so you select, you click hide findings, you say okay, and then they're gone. So it went down by one finding. We had 177, now we have 176. So they're not here on this main screen. If you ever want to go back and find them, they're under the hidden findings tab here. So they will be there. And then you can always unhide them and put them back on that main landing page, the active
just pointing
findings.
out the obvious. hiding them isn't fixing them.
Yes, that's a great point.
Right?
Yes.
But
so,
if you're going on vacation, maybe that's a strategy.
Exactly. So don't forget about that hidden findings tab. You want to go back and check periodically if there's some things in there.
I know, right? You can just say, hey, I remediated a dozen findings today. Just turn them
exactly.
off.
It's like, oh, I only have one finding here, and then you go to hidden and there's 150. But no, hopefully that's not the case.
We don't want you to do that.
Great, great point. Okay, so I'm going to dive into one of these findings in more detail so we can take a look at what's in there. So I searched on HTML. You can search on any subject or finding ID. So pretty handy search function there. I'm going to click on this one, this card. So you see this is a critical finding. You see when it was first observed, it's in the compute category. So this is kind of a tricky thing. A lot of people aren't aware of this. So removing a virtual machine folder from inventory deletes the virtual machines within it from disk when using the vSphere HTML5 client. So that's a pretty big potential issue if it happens. If you don't remediate, you'll have some data inconsistency for sure. So you can look down here under recommendations and affected objects. Here's how you resolve the issue so you can upgrade. You can take a look at this KB for more information. So it links you directly to the KB for the issue. So you can go right there. And then you see all the affected objects. So in this case, there's only one affected object for this particular issue, but it really pinpoints what exact object could be impacted if this issue were to occur. And if you have a large environment, this affected object section is really important because you could have 50 or 100 or 200 objects that could be affected by an issue. How do you find them all? Well, you can look right here in this list. And so it's really easy to identify that way.
They can even be exported as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'll show that in a minute. So you can export any or all of these findings into a CSV file. So you can do further analysis and troubleshooting. And then let me search on another finding here and we'll take a look. So I'm searching on CVE. I'm going to click on this one here. So this is a security related alert. So you see the finding ID category, it's critical because it's related to security. Description here, you can see in detail. And then the recommendations under here, since it's a security alert, you can link right over to the VMSA and take a look at the VMware Security Advisory there and see more details and remediation information. And then here, this is a good example of, you have a lot of affected objects. Yes, and so you can see all, you can scroll through this list. You can also click into any of these objects and see a lot of details about them. So that's handy. And then as Kelsey mentioned, you can export this finding or any finding into a CSV file. So you can see all the objects are showing up in this file.
And what's really great about this is if you get a security advisory alert and it comes out, and if you've got someone on the security team, they may say, hey, you know what, I just saw this latest security advisory alert. Are we impacted? You can, at this point, you can either say yes or no. No, we're not, or yes, indeed we are. And here are the objects that are impacted by it. And then you can export this out and you can give it to the person who's on the security team who's going to be responsible for remediating them. There we go.
Yeah, and this is cool too because you're really sharing, I think, best practices of what has been developed by both the product teams and our support teams, and it's tens of thousands of hours. I'm sure that really is reflected in the information that's shared back with the customers, right?
Oh yes,
that's exactly right. Exactly right. Yep. So it's based on best practices, patches, upgrades, that need to be done, configuration issues, all that kind of stuff. So definitely. Okay, so that's a little bit about the findings here. And then I'm going to show this tab here, the findings catalog. So Skyline currently is proactively checking your environment for over 700 potential issues. Now, hopefully you won't have all 700 issues showing up in your environment. But if you do want to see what all those issues are that Skyline is checking for, you can go to this findings catalog and see all of them. They're organized by dates. You can see newest, you can sort on newest or oldest, and you can literally just see all the findings here that Skyline is checking for. You can search by any finding as well. So if you hear of something, potential issue out there, you wonder if Skyline's checking for it, you can search and look here in the library. Okay, I'm gonna look, actually I think what I'm gonna do next before I go to upgrade recommendations is look at Log Assist. So this is, as we mentioned, that automated log upload tool. So I know that our customers are probably familiar with this scenario. If they do run into an issue in their VMware environment, they file a ticket with tech support. First thing that tech support engineer is going to ask for is the log files. Send up your support log bundle files, which if you do it manually, it can be a pretty tedious, time-consuming process. You may not grab the correct files and have to do it again. Sometimes it takes just a really long time to upload them via SFTP or into our via our support portal. You might have to start all over. So this really automates the process, saves a bunch of time, as we mentioned at the outset, and it's really super easy. With just a few clicks, you can automatically upload your log files. So on this Initiate Log Transfer tab, you can see all the open support requests that you and potentially your team have opened. And so literally you just select the support request that you're working on, click this next button up here, and then you select the inventory that you want to pull the log files from. And then you just click this button up here, Initiate Log Transfer, and that's it. And then the logs will automatically be pulled, the correct logs, and sent up to your tech support engineer, your VMware tech support engineer. So that's easy.
That seems like that alone is probably worth having Skyline, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do have a few customers that are using Skyline just for Log Assist. Of course, we encourage them to also, look at their proactive findings, but yes, Log Assist is extremely popular.
And what's really great about this is if you've got multiple products, can you imagine going into each and every one of those environments and generating a log bundle here? You got this single pane of glass. You can generate log bundles from all of our supported products here, and then associate it with an SR and send it, as opposed to logging into each and every one of those environments. It's all centralized here.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point. So if you go under this log transfer requests tab, you'll see, requests in progress here. So if you're uploading your logs, using Log Assist, then you're initiating it. Our tech support engineers can also use Skyline. They can use Log Assist, and they can initiate the log transfer request. They can pull the logs for you using Log Assist. And so in this case, this is what you see. This little icon here indicates this was a tech support engineer who did this log transfer request. You will get an alert, an email alert of that. And then you can go in and approve or reject that log transfer request. So then that's all you have to do in that case, just approve or reject. And then if you don't want to do anything, just check this box, auto approve log requests, and then our tech support engineers can just automatically pull the logs for you for your tickets. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to pull them. You don't have to approve them. The TSE will just do it for you. And then you will see all of your log activity here, your log transfer activity in this log library tab. So you'll see all the dates, what the inventory was. You can click into these. You can click over to the associated support request, and you'll see here, whether it was requested by the TSE, by this little blue icon here, or if it was requested by you or a team member. You'll see the black person icon there. You'll see the status, requested, expired, completed, hopefully not too many faileds. And then you can click into view details here and look at additional details about each of those transfers. So that is Log Assist, and then I wanted to show just a couple more things here before we run out of time. So upgrade recommendations is also a very useful and popular feature that Skyline provides. So I'm sure everyone knows that upgrading your products, your infrastructure can be a little tricky with all the interoperability, multiple upgrade paths, etc. And so Skyline has this feature to make it a little bit easier for you. So it's going to look at your inventory here, so your vCenters, and put in potential upgrade paths for you, and look at the interoperability, and also show you which findings, so which issues would be fixed by those specific upgrades. So let me just take a look at one of these here. So if you're upgrading ESXi, upgrading to this version, you'll see this summary here. If you do this upgrade, you'll address 36 findings. So 36 findings will be resolved with this one upgrade path. Let's look at show details here. So this is going to show the product interoperability for your environment. So it's going to show, if you have any interoperability issues across products with this particular upgrade. If you see these green check marks, it means that's great. So these products are interoperable. There's no issues. The products are grayed out, means that these products are not linked with this vCenter server. You've got some helpful links for upgrade sequences to the different versions. And here's where you see the upgrade impact. So, we mentioned it's going to address all 36 of the 36 findings for this vCenter. And you can see these are all those 36 findings that will be addressed. You can click in for more details. You can see which objects will be addressed as well. So that's pretty handy. And then let's go back and take a look maybe at one that has some interoperability issues here, if I can find one here. And we'll just take a look and see what that looks like. So these are all looking pretty good.
It's perfect. It's a perfect environment. There's no
interop issues. Right? Yeah, I was going to show you what that looks like. But looks like you've got maybe pretty easy upgrade path for most of these. So here we go.
There's one. There you go.
I found one. All right. So if you're upgrading to 7.0 U2 with this build, there's some issues detected. So let's take a look. Okay, so you can see here's your interoperability mini matrix here. These products here are all good. There is an issue, an interoperability issue with your version of NSXV. So you can see that here. You see your version will link you over to the interoperability matrix so you can look at more details. So it's going to pinpoint that, and then same, it's going to show helpful links, findings addressed, objects addressed, etc. So that's a pretty handy feature to help save you some time in your upgrade planning. Okay, so
super useful to understand that interoperability matrix.
Yes, it's kind of trying to make things a little easier, for customers.
Yeah, it definitely takes away from that reluctancy, right? You're always thinking to yourself, well, if I upgrade this, is, am I going to break something else? Right. Yeah. Am I going to break something else?
Okay, then it's like, okay. And usually you have to do it and then find it, right? And you're
right.
like, oh, now this doesn't work.
Right.
Do that.
Right. So this is going to pinpoint it for you and save some time. So there's one other thing I wanted to show, and that, going back to our dashboard, this operational overview summary here. Skyline does have an integration with vRealize Operations Cloud. So this is kind of a sneak peek, if you will, of that integration. So we're bringing support and management together. We're kind of bringing it into a single pane of glass, really. So you would be able to not have to log in, go back and forth separately between Skyline and vRealize Operations Cloud. You'd be able to kind of see them in a single pane of glass, see the Skyline alerts in vRealize Operations Cloud. There's some automation, remediation automation there. We also have a free trial of vRealize Operations Cloud that Skyline customers can sign up for right from within Skyline. You can learn more about that here. There's a helpful video talking about that integrated support and management experience, learn a little bit more about vRealize Operations Cloud, and then you can click into this card here and go onto this screen and just get a kind of sneak peek. This is going to look very familiar to you, look and feel if you do use vRealize Operations on-prem. And so you're going to see your cluster configuration, host configuration, virtual machine configuration, see some details here. So that's kind of a little sneak peek of the integration. And then you can also, there's a learn more for each of these areas. So you can learn more about vRealize Operations Cloud for each of those features, each of those areas. And then, of course, you have your environment summary at the top. So I'm not going to talk a lot about this integration because Kelsey will be doing a demo of that in a lot more detail of that integration next week. You'll be able to see.
Indeed.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. So that will just end on our dashboard screen here, but that's really what I wanted to show today. So I'll stop sharing.
Cool. Hey, that was great. That was a great demo on Skyline and a good discussion of it. It's a really powerful capability that I think a lot of our customers aren't, still aren't truly familiar with. So I think it's great. I think, that's just something that really helps you run your environments way better.
Yeah.
Hey, that was awesome. Any thoughts? Anything you guys want to add to that? Anything worth pointing out beyond the demo? It was, again, a very good demo. So thank you so much for that, Michelle.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having us. No, I would just like to encourage our customers, as we said, you don't have to pay anything extra. So if you're not already using it, go ahead and download, install Skyline. It's a pretty simple download. Most customers tell us it takes about 30 minutes. And if you're already using Skyline, maybe you learned something new today. We also have regular Skyline webinars where Kelsey and sometimes our customers jump into just a lot more depth of getting the most value from Skyline.
Cool. Hey, that was great having you guys today. Just for our audience, just reminders that we try to do these every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific. There'll sometimes be schedules that are slightly different, but that's the plan. And I think we're fully have a full schedule for July. And also, just a reminder to our audience that if you like these and you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel. Just, hit the button, as they always say. Hey, so thanks so much. And with that, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see people next time on our next broadcast. Talk soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye.